Hello!
Hello.
Welcome to Monoglossia. I'm Iglika and this is...
Stefan.
So, Stefan, I would like to interview you about your school. Is that alright?
Yes.
So, what is specific about your school?
My school is a French school in Japan.
How cool is that? It's a French school in Japan. So, the reason I wanted to interview Stefan about his school is that, obviously, it's a channel on which we talk about languages, and I find it pretty fascinating the way languages are taught in his school and just the vast number of them. Okay, so what is the main language of instruction in your school?
The main language of instruction in my school is French.
All right. And apart from French, do you... Actually, I get this question all the time from people around me. Do you actually learn Japanese?
Yes, I do learn. It's a little bit like if you got a private lesson in anywhere else in the world.
All right. But your teacher is Japanese, right?
Yes, it is.
So how many hours of Japanese do you have per week?
I have 4 hours of Japanese per week.
That sounds pretty cool. And I suppose you have classmates who are like either Japanese or half Japanese, right?
I have classmates that are half Japanese and half French.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a Japanese girl in my class, but she moved to another school.
All right. Yeah, I've heard it's pretty common for students to come and go anytime in the school year, which is more or less what he did too. Okay, so these classmates of yours, I suppose they speak really good Japanese. So does the school take this into account? Are there different levels of Japanese classes?
Yes, they are. There are levels of Japanese if you speak fluently.
Mm-hmm. You can still learn Japanese, but like maybe preparation for an exam and things like that, almost like a native language.
Yes, yes.
Okay, pretty cool. Also, there are lessons of Japanese for parents. Actually, Alex, my husband, his father, attends these. And there is also French classes for the parents of Japanese students. Alright, so we got French, Japanese. Do you learn English?
Yes, I do.
Okay, how many hours a week approximately?
3 hours a week.
3 hours a week, okay. A bit less than Japanese, but I
Yes.
guess the level is pretty high, or how would you rate it?
I would rate it medium.
Medium, okay. It's a little bit easy for you, right?
Yes, a little bit.
Yes, because basically Stefan has been using English since he was born, more or less, so it will make sense that it's a little bit easy for him. Then what else do we have? Actually, when you started the school year in France and you are in the French class of 5e, right, which is around 6th grade, I guess, in the English or American system. He is 12, he's going to be 13 soon. When he started, he was asked to pick an extra language back in France, and I thought, okay, that's gonna be a bit difficult because he'll be picking a language and he would have to give it up in a couple of months when he goes to Japan. But actually, there is an extra language, what they call in the French system langue vivante deux, is that it?
Yes.
Yes. And it's a choice between Spanish and German. In some schools there might be other choices too. But I thought that because they will be Japanese that they wouldn't have that, but they do. So what language are you learning?
I'm learning Spanish.
Okay. How many hours a week?
4 hours a week.
More than English? That's weird.
Yes.
Okay. So what would you say the level is? I looked at your textbook. It seems to be going pretty fast.
Yes, it's a pretty high level actually.
Okay, it is A1, but yeah, it does strike me as complicated too. Alright, so we got Spanish too. Are there any other languages?
Yes, actually, I'm learning Latin.
Latin, yes, it's pretty common in French schools to have the option to choose Latin as an extra language because it helps you learn more about French, and it even helps you out with other Romance languages that you might be learning, and it even helps with your English, in my opinion, because there are lots of words in a more specialized register in English that are actually based on Latin. But this is optional, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I think at first Stefan wasn't sure if he wanted to be studying Latin. He did back in France, so I really advise him to continue with it because he was doing a good job, and now he's studying Latin too. And that's how many hours a week? Maybe just one?
Yes.
One, okay. And would you say it's difficult? What kind of things are you doing?
In Latin, we are doing text reading.
Okay. Conjugating verbs, I guess?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, learning about the different cases?
Yes.
Yeah, that's, I think, always difficult for native speakers of French or many modern languages, for that matter. Alright, so we get all these languages that are being taught in this French school in Japan. French, English, Japanese, Spanish, and Latin. So, do you get confused sometimes between the different languages?
Not really, actually.
Okay, maybe because the levels are different.
Yes, they are.
And by the way, Stefan is also learning Bulgarian. On Sundays, it is a Bulgarian school in France, online Bulgarian school. It's not only online, but the mode he is studying in is online. He was doing that in France and he continues to do it. So he's learning 6 languages right now. Which is pretty cool. Of course, he's at different levels in all of these. Would you like to speak a bit in different languages? I know I didn't prepare you for that, and don't worry, the goal is really not to say you're like fluent in all of them or anything, just maybe to do a little demonstration.
Yes, I'll start by Bulgarian.
Okay, you want to have it like as a conversation?
Добър ден.
Добър ден, Стефан. Какво мислиш за български език? От кога учиш български?
Уча български откакто започнах да ходя на училище. Даже по-рано започнах и много добре се справям с българския. Българо-французин съм и много добре се оправя.
Да, мислиш ли на български?
Да, на български мисля.
На български ли сънуваш? Или
да, на български сънувам. Само веднъж или 2 пъти на френски. Но иначе това само на български.
Добре, интересно. Okay, we've been speaking English until now, so maybe let's do some French. Je pense que ton français est meilleur que le mien, donc...
Oui, t'as raison.
Pourquoi tu dis ça?
Est-ce que j'aime te taquiner?
Je connais pas ce mot, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire?
Ça veut dire embêter un petit peu quelqu'un.
D'accord, pas gentil. Je fais tout ce que je peux, mais c'est pas... J'ai commencé à apprendre le français quand j'avais, je sais pas, 21 ans. Et toi, quand est-ce que tu as commencé à apprendre le français?
J'ai commencé à apprendre le français quand j'étais tout petit en même temps que le bulgare, parce que je suis franco-bulgare.
Et... qu'est-ce que je voulais te demander? Donc, tu es allé à l'école en Bulgarie et en France.
Oui.
Donc, tu es habitué avec les 2 langues, plus ou moins de la même façon?
Oui.
D'accord. Quand tu lis, par exemple, quand tu écris, parce que c'est des alphabets différents, est-ce que tu es plus confortable en bulgare ou en français?
Je ne sais pas, ça dépend.
Ça dépend, d'accord. Alright, I'll bother you a bit with Spanish. I love Spanish. I've been learning Spanish myself. My level is around B2, I guess. I know you've just started this year, and I know it's difficult when you start a new language. ¿Hablas español?
Sí, hablo español muy bien.
¿Es verdad? Muy bien. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Esteban.
¿Cuántos años tienes?
Yo tengo 12 años.
Muy bien. ¿Y dónde vives?
Vivo en Kioto, Japón.
Kioto, Japón. Muy bien, muy bien. ¿Vas a una escuela japonés?
No, voy a una escuela francesa.
Muy bien. Alright. Japanese. Let's bother you with some Japanese. Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
私はイグリカです。あなたは？
私はステファンです。
That sounds very Japanese. I think you can say Stefan. 何歳ですか
？12歳です。
好きな食べ物は何ですか？
はい、好きです。
何ですか？好きな食べ物何ですか？
シュリンプ。
エビ。エビが好きですか？はい。はい。日本が好きですか？
はい。
Okay, now Latin. I'll tell you a secret. I don't speak any Latin whatsoever. Can you tell me something in Latin?
Yes, I can conjugate.
Okay, conjugate something.
For example, the verb possum.
It means can, to be able to, I suppose.
I'm not sure actually.
You're not sure what it means, but you can conjugate it.
Yes.
I bet that's what it means.
Possum, possumus, potestis, possunt.
Alright, okay, great. So yeah, I bet it means to be able to think about other Latin verbs, okay, other Latin languages, right? In French, how do you say to be able to?
Je suis capable. Tu es capable.
Okay, how do you say can? I can.
Je peux.
The infinitive is?
Pouvoir.
Okay, what about in Spanish? Poder. Poder. You see how it's similar? How about English? You know what potent means, for example?
Not really.
Capable. Okay, yeah, so that's how Latin helps you. I mean, you get helped by the languages you know to know Latin, but also Latin helps you know more complicated words in other languages, which I think is pretty cool.
Yes.
Okay, so is your Latin teacher a native speaker?
Of course.
Alright, is there anything else you would like to say?
So I'm learning 5 languages at school.
And an extra one at home.
Yes.
Great, well done. So, do you recommend for kids, teenagers your age to be learning multiple languages, or do you think it's complicated? Do you think it's confusing?
Yes, maybe I would recommend. But first, I think you should know a little bit of the history of the language.
Alright, excellent point. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, we finish on this note. Thank you very much for joining, and be sure to like and subscribe if you like our content, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye. I сега мога да си път.
Да, път. To jest Gustavia.